Hi, my name is Carla and I'm a psychotherapeutic counselor. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the lesser known trauma response, which is called the Fawn trauma response. So the Fawn trauma response is incredibly common, but for some reason, not many people know about it. It's a response where our stem brain decides in a split second that the threat in front of us is too strong to fight and probably too fast to run away from it. So we have to somehow appease to it. We have to befriend it. We have to find a way that the threat in front of us likes us so that they won't harm us. In childhood, this often happens when the caregivers of the child are very volatile, often with emotionally immature parents that can't really regulate their emotions. The children tend to have a fawn response in order to somehow keep the parents on side. The children learn very early on to completely ignore their own needs and fulfill the needs of the parent in order to not lose attachment to the parent. So, what does that look like when these children grow up, when they become adults? People that are stuck in the fawn response as adults often fear rejection. Their whole persona is a people-pleasing persona, meaning that when they meet new people, they just completely change character so that they are what they think these new people want them to be. They have a strong desire to keep the peace. They don't want to cause any trouble whatsoever, and therefore they really struggle with boundaries. So it's really difficult for them to say no, to set any boundary whatsoever. They usually take on much more that they can do, and they often feel resentful inside, but there is no way for them to actually voice that because they think it is not their place to say no or to refuse. They usually tend to overhelp, and overhelping is when you're helping at your own detriment, at your own expense, basically. And their own needs don't matter. They often even lose touch with their own authentic needs because they are so focused on pleasing others, on making other people happy. So, as you can imagine, the fawn response is kind of a hidden trauma response because others will not make you aware of it because they benefit from it, right? The opposite is obviously the fight response, where people will ask you eventually what's wrong with you, or the flight response, where people eventually will take notice that you're so avoidant. But in the fawn response, you often get praised for it. You often get a lot of value from being a people pleaser. People say, oh, he or she is so kind, they're so lovely, they're so helpful. So there is a lot of reward from being in this rescuer role, in this people pleasing role. The negative side to it, though, is that us ourselves, if we are stuck in the fawn response, we completely neglect our own needs. And very often we can start to build a lot of resentment because we're never looking for ourselves. We're always looking for the other's needs. And it's not really that fulfilling if we completely neglect ourselves. So if this resonated with you and you kind of see some of your own character mirrored in what I just explained, then I would suggest you start therapy. I offer 30-minute free of charge consultations, and you can find a lot of info on my website. Thank you so much for listening, and soon I'm going to upload more videos on trauma responses. Bye-bye.